All right, guys, we're going live. Hello, everyone. Hi, guys. Thank you so much for joining us today. Welcome to another great episode of 2hot4church Facebook Live. Yes. So I am your host, Genense Roberson. And at 2hot4church, we like to say that we like to bring thought-provoking talk from the pulpits to the streets. And then we have my lovely, beautiful, talented, co-host. She is a certified love and relationship coach, and she is also the author of one of my favorite books, honey. One of my favorite books. What's the name of the book, honey?
Perfectly Imperfect.
Yes.
The key principles to your best relationship ever.
Yes, this is my good friend, Miss Kim Love Jones.
Hey.
You guys say hey. You guys say hey, sugar.
Hey, sugar.
Hey, sugar. You know that's your thing, right? So I know y'all like, okay, what's going on? Like we got some new people here joining us, right? Okay. So we have joining us today these two conscious brothers. That's how Kim basically describes them.
Yes.
Conscious brothers.
I like that.
You like that?
I like that.
Okay. So we have two conscious brothers here today, and we have Russ and Darren, and with Kim, they together make up the Emotions Forum, okay? And the Emotions Forum is coming up May 14th at Spices in the Grill in Baldwin, and I think we said it's going to be from 6 to 9?
Yes.
6 to 9? Okay. So say hello to everyone on Facebook, guys.
Hey, what's going on?
So tell them your name.
I'm Darren Green.
Darren Green. Wait, D Green.
D Green.
That's D Green in the building.
Russ, DJ Buster Russ.
Oh, Buster Russ Harris. Okay, so guys, tell us more about the Emotions Forum. Tell me like how it got started, how you guys got connected. Like, yeah, take that.
All right, I'll take that.
Take that.
Rush.
All right. One day, myself and Darren, we went back. We started doing these little party promotions. We started off in law enforcement entertainment with another partner, Zena Lieutenant, who is part of Freeport Police Department. We came together as law enforcement entertainment. We started creating these law enforcement social nights at different locations. We started at Spices in the Grill, and we went and did Lynx Lounge out in Baldwin. Then we were at Rockville Center and Dunn's River. We created these nights for law enforcement nights, social gatherings,
Yeah.
which were pretty successful.
Yeah.
So one day, Darren and I were sitting with Love Jones down in Baldwin, the proprietor. Rest in peace, Mike Floyd.
Rest in peace.
We were sitting at his spot one night, and we were just having a discussion, talking about our own situations in terms of relationships. And we were talking about that, and then we were talking about what can we do, something different that's not a party, to get people to come together and do something just different off the grid. And we were talking about our own relationship situations at the time, and we're like, our people, when we have relationship issues or personal issues, our people don't go to therapy, but they will come out to party. They will come out with somewhere there's music, where there's food and drinks. So we thought about that, and then Darren came up with the idea. It's like, you know what? We need to put together like a forum where we can all come together and discuss our relationship issues. So from that point on, we started putting it all together. We said, okay, we add the element of music, which came to me, DJ Buster Russ. And we had, in a location where we had food and drinks and brought that together, people will come out and just we provided a platform to discuss love, sex, and relationship. People don't mind talking about sex, so we made that the forefront of the discussions that brought people out.
That's a good idea.
So we figured we'd make up some topics.
Sex sells.
Exactly.
It does. It really does.
So we said, we're not here to tell people what to do for their relationships. We're just here to provide a platform for people to discuss their different situations based on the topic that we provide. And it may be therapeutic to people to hear that some people can identify with the same issues, and hearing how they might deal with it or what they're going through, and it might, like myself, I've gotten some ideas and things that help me in my relationships by listening to other people's situations.
And you're right, that helps. That really does help. Sometimes It's like when people are transparent, right?
Yes.
About their whatever they're going through. You'd be like, wait, hold on. So I'm not the only one going through it.
Exactly.
And then,
Right.
you know, it
Right.
helps you.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So from that point on, you know, we started with a small group. We went down, we decided to start it at Spice in the Grill. We started with a small group. Darren came up with the whole
About
format.
30.
Well, no, it started with about 10 to 11 people, the first one.
Mm-hmm.
I was at the first one.
Yeah, we only had about 10, 12 people. Something
Was it
like that.
really?
Mm-hmm. And Kim was amongst us in that first one.
Yeah.
And
And y'all felt her
yeah,
fire.
we had a topic. We started with that, you know, and then it just started to, we did Spices in the Grill, and it just started to grow from that point. And Kim was there every week. This was a
Yes.
weekly thing.
Yeah.
And Kim became like the resident expert. Yeah, Kim added a little extra element that we
Yes,
didn't expect.
she
She
did,
would
yeah.
bring a computer,
Mm-hmm.
and then she would Skype somebody in live while we were doing the forum.
And that's
As
why
a
you
guest.
need a woman's touch, okay?
Aw.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. That's why we.
Yeah.
That's right.
You just need to.
Right.
A little sizzle.
Right.
Right.
Right. A little-
That's right.
I'm gonna add to this because when Kim walked in the first night, you know, Kim and I, we all go back, you know, 30 years or so.
Right.
Especially.
Okay, but I'm only 30, just so you know.
Okay.
I was in campus.
And so when
I was
Kim
in
walked in,
campus.
Kim said, you know, Darren, listen, like, this is my calling. Like, I'm here for a reason.
Yeah.
And she was pretty adamant about that, about the forum being a forum for her. She's
Right.
like this is designed just for me.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know how you guys came up with this, but this is for me.
Right.
And it just kind of took off from there. So I'll ad lib a little bit more later, but I just wanted to
Yeah, she's good. She's
to add to
good.
what Russ was saying.
She's good.
Yeah.
So what do you think?
Listen, let me tell you something. I always say these brothers right here are very conscious. They're very aware of how they feel. They are real. They're a man's man. They genuinely, and this is why I advocate for my brothers so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Because
She
a
does
lot of
advocate for
people
y'all a lot.
say, you know, men, you know, oh, they're not supposed to do this, they're not supposed to, but to have a, but to be in the company of conscious brothers, and that's why I be like, they do exist.
Right.
You know, it's like Santa Claus meets the M&Ms. I don't know if you're and they both say, no, I'm saying that, and I'm saying that because a lot of people don't believe that they exist.
That conscious brothers.
That
exist.
conscious
Right.
brothers who are aware of how they feel, who have a voice.
Right.
You know, and I'm a big, you know, advocate for my brothers because I know, like, they ooh, cut the volume down. Because I know how amazing they are.
Right,
And
right.
sometimes, and you know, Darren, I'm not going to go too deep into this, what I'm about to say, but Darren has had some experiences, and so has my brother Russ in their lives, right?
Right.
And indirectly because of that, they have morphed and transformed
Right.
into the people that they are.
Right.
But they're not doing it. So maybe they stumbled at 1st, but now they're conscious.
Right.
You know, and realize like they want to be better, they want to do better. And it's a lot of men out there that are, you know, and while I advocate for my sisters as well,
Yes.
my brothers, I don't think anybody champions them.
Right.
You know, I don't find that a lot.
Right.
You
Well,
know,
we do
so-
appreciate you guys.
Yeah,
Thank you,
we
thank
need y'all.
Right.
What's it?
We need y'all. Crazy and all that.
There's no one above you.
There you
Andrew
go.
Stone.
There you go,
I
yeah.
want you.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
all right.
All right. Okay.
You got
Okay,
another
all right,
career
people.
coming.
Right.
Okay. But I wanted to say something. So, like, I know you guys talk about a lot of different things, a lot of different topics. And I know, like, one of the topics that I heard you guys talk about was MONEY. And we know that is a very touchy topic for a lot of relationships, you know? And I think Kim and I, we were talking this morning, and Kim, she always says this thing, what do you say? Like, money is not a reason for people to
It's
be...
a poor reason for people to be together or apart.
Right.
It's
Right.
a poor reason.
It is a poor reason. However,
Yes.
I mean, it helps
Yeah,
a lot.
no, it does.
It does help a lot.
Yes.
So, I mean, like, what do you guys think about relationships and MONEY?
Listen, you know, one of the things that was, I'm going to throw a shout out here, you know, in addition to from Emotions, is that Manistries. Manistries is a group of brothers that get together. There was a forum that was created, another forum, by a friend of mine and one of my brothers, Will Thomas, from New Movement. And he created this awesome gathering for men to get together. And for us to vent and talk about us, you know, because we don't have some place to really vent. And one of the brothers that came yesterday happened to be a financial advisor at Wells
okay.
Fargo. And one of the things that he spoke about, very quickly was that your financial health is just as important as your mental health, or it's just as healthy in your relationships as anything else. So it becomes a point where if you're not discussing your money in your relationship, it's a recipe for disaster and failure.
That's true.
And you can't deny it. I mean, same thing with sex. A lot of people downplay the sex. Those are the two leading things that will destroy a relationship. Sex and money.
I agree.
So financially, if you're not good, it's a problem.
It is. I agree.
You said if you're not good at sex and money.
Oh my God.
That's a combination for disaster.
That's the combination.
Okay?
Quote that.
Wait.
Put that in quotation.
Right. Quote.
Wait. Let's say
not being good at sex and money is a disaster.
Let's say a prayer. Really, I think we need to say a quick prayer.
Okay.
It's too hot for church, y'all. Too hot for church. We're gonna keep it clean.
She said you can't be bad at both.
You would hear that, right?
Right.
I'm sorry. I'm listening. I'm sorry.
I can't.
These are my brothers. I love them. I'm telling you.
Okay, so another topic I know that that you guys talked about, or I think you guys will be talking about this topic in the Up and Coming Forum, is what does it take to sustain a healthy relationship? Is
back to basics.
Right. So it's called Back to Basics, and it says, what does it take to sustain a healthy relationship? So I want to start this off by saying the book that I often read, which is by Kim Love Jones. She put in her book, she says that taking responsibility is one of the top 10 ways to reach your relationship goals.
Yes.
I like that.
Yes.
I like that. So that's taking responsibility for your actions is definitely going back to the basis, and it is a way that you can help to sustain a healthy relationship.
Yeah, it is.
Because that's one of the first questions that I ask when I meet someone, right? I always ask about like their role in the reason why they may have broken up with their significant other. And if they take absolutely no responsibility, if they just say, oh, she was crazy, or if they say, oh, she cheated, or, that's a big turnoff for me, because what that is showing me is that you are not willing to take any responsibility. Nobody's perfect.
No, not at all.
So you can't put all that blame on, the other person, That's a big turnoff. So that is really a question that I like to always ask. I want to know, what happened? Who did it? And if he puts it all on the woman, I ain't interested. That's a big turnoff for me.
Right.
Okay. All right.
Right.
Because
I think you gotta own your stuff.
Yeah, you have to
own your stuff. And I'm the first one to say that. I was married, right? And me and my husband, we didn't have the greatest marriage, right? To this day, though, I love him, right? And I want nothing but the best for him. But while I was in it, you couldn't tell me that I wasn't right about what I was saying and how I felt. And you could not tell me. It was only after close examination that I started to understand that sometimes even you may not be directly responsible, but you are indirectly responsible for what's happening. And by that, I mean, you said she cheated, right? And her cheating may be wrong, dead wrong. Right. But what caused her?
Yes. See,
that's an indirect. And so a lot of people won't tell you that they had been stepping out, right? And that now, as a direct result of what they were doing, the woman then felt unloved, uncared for, felt like you were cheating on her, you weren't spending time with her, and now she has gone out. They won't tell you that part. And so it's always like, oh, she's no good, she's a dog. But we can put that in reverse, because a lot of women will hurry up and say, oh, he cheated. And some men are natural born womanizers. They don't know anything else, right? But a lot of times, the woman will go and say, oh, he's a dog, he's a dog, he's a dog. but then how was you treating this man when he came home every day?
Right, yeah.
You know, because it's not always, as much as one might think, so cut and dry.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? You go, oh, you know, he was just a dog, you never did it. But how are you talking to him every day?
Right.
When he comes home, is his dinner ready?
Right.
When he comes home, are you loving on him? And even if you are not a cook, you know what I mean? Because you don't have to be a cook.
Or it's
you might be good at keeping
something.
Right. Or the Chinese food.
Or
I mean, they deliver.
Or Uber Eats now.
You got everything.
Right, so there shouldn't be no problem with you not feeding your man.
Make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Just have something on the table.
No, but okay, so. But people don't.
See, I don't have those issues.
I know you don't, because you and your honey baby, y'all both cook. She's so sweet. She's the hostess with the mostest show. And as you guys can see, we are actually filming on location. We are at my boy D Green's house, and it is absolutely fabulous.
Yes,
it's beautiful.
it is amazing.
Because of our hostess with the mostest, his sugar bear.
Yes, thank you, sugar bear.
You know, so we're actually here. It's sitting in front of the fireplace now. Okay, that's how fly it is.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay, I'm not going to talk about
I'm not gonna put you
but
in
it's
circle.
fly, y'all. You know why it's fly?
Yes.
Because Ruth did it.
Right, the woman's touch.
The house that
The
Ruth
woman.
built.
There you go.
We like that. Amen. A woman's touch. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Right. My sister did
I
it.
had very little input.
We know.
But yeah, the walls are probably
Right.
I'm just
Or yellow. Like, okay.
No,
Yellow is good because my daughter loves yellow.
Okay.
Hi, Lena. Love you. Sorry. You never want to talk about the color yellow. She loves the color yellow.
Yeah, I'm looking at some of the comments here. That, you know, this brother Milton, to teach my beautiful sister what she was talking about Kim, because I guess people are feeling or was feeling exactly what Kim was saying. But I'm gonna dive in here just for a second in regards to the question with back to basics, because Kim touched on so many important topics, and we can do this for days, hours, months.
Right.
Kim and I sometimes get on the phone, and we're on the phone. And we wish that we would record and tape some of the conversations that we
have deep conversations.
And that's what each week brings us to topic. But more importantly, what we want to focus on now with emotions is that we want to make sure that when people leave, they're leaving with something that we can also be in a situation to offer them some type of help and services.
Okay.
Because we touched and scratched the surface, the three of us, when we started this.
Taking the church.
But now, you know, coming back,
That's
you
right.
know, I mean, we started this thing in 2012.
Yeah.
Okay. And here we are now in 2019, and people still need help.
Yeah.
And that's why the first one has to be going back to basics. And this is something, and we're not going to go too deep, but something Kim and I spoke about, and Russ and I spoke about, which was going back to basics is the foundation of relationships. There are relationships that we need to focus on. Not only relationships with your spouse, but relationships with your brothers, with your sisters, with your coworkers, how you operate at work.
Right.
Because everything is based on you as an individual. And sometimes we got to get us right. And so we're walking around damaged and hurt and going into the workplace with a bad attitude. We're walking into relationships with a bad attitude.
That is so true.
So we have to focus on the basic principles of relationship building across the board.
Across the board, that's true.
Across the board, because if I can't get the relationships right at home, then I'm leaving home. I want to get involved with somebody. I'm spreading that nastiness. Nastiness across. So we want to do some really good works here. This is just not about people thinking, hey, you're gonna come down and focus on talking about sex or talking about, you know, spouses. We want to accomplish talking about relationships with everybody.
Right.
Because it goes into your workplace. It goes into politics.
It goes into your church.
Listen, we're not going to talk about that.
Yeah, we are.
We
Look, this is too hot for church. Yes, we are.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely, we're going to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I think that's important. Listen, as a ex-deacon, you know, and former president of a men's ministry, I completely understand. So we actually will talk about
yes, that's what's up. So let me see. All right. So Denise L. Jones Smith, which is my mom. If I don't acknowledge her, honey, you know she gonna throw a fit. So, hello, mother.
Hi, Mom.
How are you?
Hi, Mom. Your daughter's doing fine.
Right, for the most part, right? So mom goes, I'm blessed and highly favored. My husband works, cooks, cleans, and also does the grocery shopping.
Okay.
Does he have a brother?
Hold on, is that your mother?
Oh, wait.
No, you can't.
Can we cut that?
You can't marry your nephew. No.
Wait, so wait, what would we
Wouldn't that be your father?
Yeah,
Inquiring about
that would be
your
your
Right,
stepfather.
no, I'm sorry. Let's cut that. Oh my God, that is so funny.
That was a good
Right.
question just to the wrong person.
Right,
Exactly.
So
That's what we're
It's
looking
for free.
Right.
Right, I'm for a friend. I'm asking for a friend.
Right.
So okay, Kevin says hello. Hey, Kevin. Hey,
Kevin, boom.
yes, what up?
See
Carl Sanders, don't let Darren do too much talking. Okay. Okay. So Darren, don't let Darren do too much
I
talking.
was just sitting here laughing because I saw the comment and I said, here go Carl.
Okay.
So Darren's
All right,
always
Carl, I
eating
won't
out.
talk too much. Just for you.
So Darren can't do too much talking. Kevin says, preach Kim. Yes, honey. Lena, that's my daughter. Hey, Lena Boo Boo. Well, she was supposed to be here today. We miss you, baby. She's my personal assistant. Yeah. but
Okay.
she's-
Well, we miss you.
Yes, we miss you.
Yeah.
She does an excellent job. And she says responsibility shows maturity. Yes, honesty is the best policy. And Darren is always eating out. Are you really always eating out? Like, okay, let's talk about this. Because I love friends and family. Because friends and family, they tell the truth. So what's going on? You always eat out?
Listen, first of all, I got to give a lovely, warm shout out to my fiance, Ruth.
Yes, we
Okay,
love Ruth.
and I had to get my permission slip signed to let this all happen.
Yes,
So this wasn't just
thank
on
you.
me, okay? But
Yes.
Ken pushed this, okay? So I had to get Ken to sign, and But anyway,
She loves me.
Yes.
we like to frequent, restaurants, and we like to we like to enjoy each other's company. So we go out, we wine and dine after we finish working all the hours that we put in work.
Right.
But we found something that we really enjoyed together, and
That's eating.
right.
It looks like a good meal.
It's nothing like a good meal and a fresh cocktail.
Oh, okay, right.
Uh-huh.
Yes. There's nothing wrong
No,
with that.
nothing wrong with that. So, Carl, the answer to your question is yes. I'm slightly overweight, but I'm happy. So I mean, call it what you want. I'm working happy better.
That's a happy, right. It's the happy,
Oh.
content weight.
Right. Yes.
Right.
That's that comfortable weight.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm comfortable.
But-
I'm in love.
For
Weight.
those of you who didn't see the pictures that we posted yesterday, I got my partner.
Oh, yeah.
Buster
Oh
Ross,
yes,
who won
yes.
the
First
50
place.
Yes.
NPC physique competition yesterday. So when y'all see me change a little different, understand what emotions is going to be done.
Because you hanging out with
Buster
Buster
Ross,
Ross.
the Long Island champion for flipping over.
That's right.
But he made
Look at
sure.
those pictures
Right.
later.
He went around the whole room and made sure everybody saw the picture. It was like
I was there yesterday.
50
so I
years old.
said-
You were there?
I was there.
He was there for fun.
And I'm into something.
Yo, shout out to everybody that came out to support yesterday.
Yes,
Appreciate
shout
it.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, my boss is on here now. Derek Speed,
Hey,
Pop Warner,
Derek.
he came out yesterday. Appreciate it.
Yes. But that's pretty good because, like, I mean, you look good.
Oh, thank
No
you very
disrespect for the right. I'm just saying he looked really, really good. I mean, because a lot of that they ain't.
Now I'm going to touch it.
I'm 50, but I'm trying to live like I'm 20.
Uh-oh.
There you go.
So I think he said 50 is the new 20.
Absolutely.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Now I'm looking at some of these comments, and Kevin just responded and he said, "Communication is a must. Also, having things in common, a common goal is important." Kevin, you're 100% right when it comes to communication. And I'm just going to say, just for me right now, as the second time around, yeah, it's it is incredible.
Yes,
it's,
your baby's body is
we
hot.
used to hope when we hosted the forum last time. I want you guys to remember. Shout out to my brother in heaven, Philip Rivers. Those of you who remember.
yes.
And Philip used to always say at the forum, when we moved down to Love Jones, every week Phil would say, communication. It's communication. Communication is the key.
That's all he ever said.
That's all he said. And then when he got a chance to dive, he did. And we can express to you now that, Kevin, you're absolutely right. Communication is the key. But a lot of people don't know how to do that.
I'm going to be honest with you. I could take a brother who does not know how to communicate, but is willing to learn how to communicate. Does that make sense?
There's a song
like
about
that willingness is like everything. That like supersedes like everything. It's just having the will to want to learn how to communicate.
Now, we hosted a forum based on this. And the song is by Music Soul Child, which is called Teach Me How to Love.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Teach Me How to Love.
That's actually
Teach
my
me
favorite.
how to love. Show me the way to surrender my heart. Y'all know that song, Girl, I'm so lost. Sorry.
That's it. There you go.
And that was one of our biggest. That was one of our biggest forums at that night.
You actually did.
Yes, I did.
He did that at the forum. We so connected. It's like, this is crazy.
I will tell you guys this. If you guys have never been to Emotions, into the forum,
you gotta
it's
come.
not just conversation.
Yeah.
You guys are missing a musical treat, an animated treat, because I'm kind of animated. And
Look, Beyonce knows
bring
he's
it back
very
home with a
animated.
spiritual blessing.
Yes.
So we kind of
Amen.
cover the basis with everything, and not that I'm not spiritual,
No,
but
you are.
we
You
cover
absolutely
everything,
are.
Yeah.
and we have a good time. But we cover issues that are important. I mean, as far as even domestic violence, we cover
Yes,
we
we've
had a
covered
big
a
cover
lot of,
issues.
yeah.
You know,
We've
child
actually
support.
helped some people with
Remember
direction.
we talked about the police and how to interact with the police, and we talked about Trayvon Martin issue.
Oh, we talked about that.
Because we had the forum going for about 3 years, guys.
Yeah. Listen.
3-4 years almost.
Right, and we talked about not only that, but the amount of people that we had coming out weekly.
Yes.
And what we used to
We
get
reached numbers almost
75 people.
Oh,
Wow,
People
it was
a week.
more than 100. More than
Yeah.
100.
We had a lot of
Because
people
it was
there.
standing room
Wow.
only, and Spices can hold about 160 to 200 people, and you couldn't, and it was wall to wall people.
Wow.
You know, I'm telling you, it was crazy.
It was.
We had enough people. We did our own holiday parties with just the forum groups.
Oh,
Yes,
wow.
It wasn't open
Yeah.
to the public.
Wow.
Just the forum. 'Cause we created relationships within the forum. People created relationships with each other. We created relationships with a lot of people. If
Right.
Darren does something, the people from the Emotions Forum support it. If I did something,
Right.
you know, I had a lot of birthday parties, and the whole party was Emotions people. You know,
Right,
things like
right.
that. You know, and we
Right.
create a lot.
It's
of
a really big, it's a good family.
Right,
It's a
right.
good family of people, yeah.
And
Yeah.
we're looking for more family members to come out, people to get involved.
May 14th, right?
Yes.
May 14th at Spices the Grill.
Right,
Yeah.
and Baldwin, y'all know that's the Jamaican
Right.
spot, right?
That's a Jamaican spot.
Yeah,
yes, it
that's
is.
where I had my graduation party.
Granddaddy in the ball.
Yeah.
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 You
Grand
know,
When I
and
graduated,
before we go to
Oh,
phone,
I love that.
we got to thank you for having us on and
Right.
for hosting this.
Right.
Because
Put it
listen,
out
this is something that is necessary, that's needed. But Too Hot for Church. Notice that. Now I will tell you this. It right now it's Too Hot for Church, but in Emotions, it ain't too hot for church.
Emotions is even more.
It's speaking from the heart.
It's
Right.
more. It's
very
too hot for
unsensitive.
church. Too hot for
Well,
church.
to
and
give you a
worship.
prime example, one of our topics that we had back when was the male G spot.
Oh,
There we go.
Darren really went in on that subject.
wait.
Does it really exist?
Oh God, Jesus Christ! Does it really exist?
Here we go with the Eminem Jesus sample.
Yeah.
We
Okay.
are relationship experts, you know.
Right.
But that's a good question. So, like, okay, when you guys are doing the relationship forum, okay, are you speaking from experience? Like, are you putting your business out there too? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you know.
Sometimes you reflect back on your relationship. If something comes up, and you can reflect, and you can add to the fire,
Right.
to the flame that's burning at the time. You know,
Right.
you speak based on your personal experience.
Right. So there's your significant other be like, oh, you giving too
Oh,
much
let me
information.
tell you something.
Like, you too
Let me tell you something.
TMI.
My wife is like, hey, you know, I know better.
Right.
To go too far.
Right, okay.
But, you know, we talking kind of general.
Right.
Well,
Right.
we
So
talking
it's in
kind of
general. You're not
terms.
telling too much.
But sometimes
Okay.
I will say, you know, just so people can relate that, I'm no different than you are, and this is my experience.
Right.
I'm going to use a phrase because I have a friend of mine who tells me all the time. And I hope that this is a phrase that is used in the Bible. So please, don't take it as he says that I'm an emotional whore. Okay?
Oh.
Because of my personality.
You?
Yes.
He said that you're an emotional whore?
Yes.
Are you? I don't think
I
so.
love everybody.
No, I love everybody.
I do. So one of the things, Janice, the answer to your question was, do we speak about items? It was therapeutic for me. And the reason why I say that is because when hosting and being able to talk about your own experiences, I have a lot of them.
Right.
And when it comes to relationships, I went through a lot of different things, from childhood to relationships to my marriage to my former marriage to now to me being engaged to be married again, which most people think I'm crazy, but I'm not. And so what I've had to do.
What do you mean most people think you're crazy? Where'd you get that from?
Well, to be married, he's been married.
Once you get married, how many people would not get married again? There
are a lot of people.
Because they've been damaged.
I was like, what?
They've been damaged from the first one.
So they're like, nah.
This is the reason why we need the Emotions Forum.
Yeah.
Because I'm telling you, even what Janice does every single week, and now I'm a part of this on a weekly, every 2 weeks, right?
Yes,
bi-weekly. It's to help people to start to see themselves.
Yeah.
Because so many people are dying lonely. They leave here, they don't have anybody. They don't have anybody in their lives.
Right.
Because they're afraid to have real relationships.
Because after you've been hurt so many, and we talked about this, after you've been hurt, it's just like, you know what? 1 time, 2 times, 3rd time, you're just like, you know what? I'm gonna just like stay home and watch Netflix all day, every day. I'm good. I don't need the relationships. You know what I mean?
Regina, really?
What happened? Regina being crazy by definition. Gemini. What are Gemini men like?
Oh, they're wonderful. We are the most loving, outstanding. You probably will never get a better partner
than a Gemini.
Okay.
Crazy. Did y'all hear that? Did y'all hear that?
Wait. I don't know where that came from.
Gemini men are what? Like, what's some of you guys like?
Most people say we have dual personalities.
Okay.
You just hear a voice.
Y'all hear that, right? Dual personality is a nice way to say bipolar.
I'm not claiming that.
Come on now.
I'm not claiming that.
Let's keep it 100. Dual personality is a nice way to say.
What did you say? Yolanda said there are a lot of happy people dying lonely too. I don't know how that makes sense.
Okay, so let's dive into that. Okay, real quick, Denise. What she means by this is that you can be in a relationship and still be lonely.
No,
yes.
I don't know. Yolanda, is that what you mean?
Yolanda, there are a lot of people.
Explain that.
There are a lot of people dying lonely too. Okay.
Happy people dying lonely too.
Okay. You can be happy with oneself, but be in a relationship and be lonely. You know how many women?
Is that what you're saying?
Do you know how many women were married or are married and lonely right now?
Yeah.
Living in the same house or having a husband and are lonely, which is a whole nother topic, one that we're going to discuss in a further date. Yeah. But I understand what she's saying.
Ma, stop it. My mother goes, Janice, are you a Gemini? What are you trying to say? You see, the family tells the truth. I'm telling you.
Are you having bipolar?
You know what, Ma, stop, okay? But you know what? I'm going to do something different here because I'm just so interested in knowing what Yolanda is talking about.
Me too.
That is my sister, guys. But I want to know what she's talking about. So, Yolanda, I'm getting ready to call you, okay? And I'm going to need you to answer the phone and just tell us what you're talking about. That's what I want to know. So, here we go.
Okay,
this is something different. We've never done it before.
This before.
Yolanda,
really, Yolanda? Really? Seriously?
What's the voicemail?
We got to try this again.
Okay.
Michael, thank you so much.
Mike in the house.
Right.
We got it on the line. Hello?
This is what emotions will be. Yeah. Is that Yolanda?
This is
what
Yolanda. We want to know what you mean. What was the comment that she made? She said
a lot of people.
I was saying there are a lot of happy people dying lonely too, because I believe Kim was saying that people are dying
that doesn't mean you're lonely though. That's different. You're just not in a relationship.
Okay, but if you're not in a relationship, what does that mean?
It doesn't mean you're lonely though. Because I have a very full and rich life, and I'm not in a relationship.
Right.
And I am very
Kim,
content.
as often as you're not talking, you lonely. You left the door. You left the door for that. I'm sorry. You left the door. Did you say Eminem's moment?
No. Listen, that is not true. I'm very fulfilled.
Yes.
I
take that back.
That is not true. He's just giving me the business, y'all.
Yes.
No, I need to say this, and this is the reason why I need to say this. Because as it stands right now, I am very content in my life. I'm extremely content. And I am, I'm so busy that I don't really have a whole bunch of time to think about, like, oh my God, am I going to meet somebody? Or can I have somebody? So that's the reason why I'm not lonely. And my brothers, who I talk to, right?
Yes.
Who I call, and I could call them at any time and be like, just such and such is going on. They keep me thoroughly occupied.
Right, yeah.
So if I'm not on the phone talking to Daryl, I'm on the phone talking to my best friend Susan, or I'm on, you know what I mean? So I stay busy and on assignment.
And I think that's the secret.
Is being on assignment.
It's like, you're doing something that fulfills you.
Right.
You're walking in your purpose.
Right.
So you really don't have time to think about the other stuff.
Absolutely right.
Right.
And that's going to be another topic.
Okay.
When you say that, we were talking yesterday when we went to the men's breakfast.
Yeah, talk about it.
All right, Yolanda, you good? Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
So you want me to dive into that real quick?
I want you to talk about
Jimmy, so you ready for that?
No, I want you to talk about it.
Okay.
And not, because it's a private situation,
right, it is.
But
so, one of the things that we covered yesterday, and Will, if you watch it and you get a chance to see this, Will Thomas has done a great job in creating ministries, again, which allows a platform for men to come out and discuss their issues and just talk openly and honestly about what we go through every day, not only in our personal lives, but in our relationships. And when I tell you it is groundbreaking, earth-shattering, it is moving, it is emotional, it is all that it could be for us,
Right.
For men. And, some brothers shared yesterday, and I won't go into too deep with personal stories, but one of the things that came up with one of the guest speakers yesterday which is something that I've talked about years ago and reading the book, is that you got to know your purpose.
Right.
And Rick Warren wrote this book years ago called A Purpose-Driven Life.
yeah.
So when I was really heavy into the Word, I was going to theology school, which a lot of people don't know that I was practicing at one point to be a minister.
Okay.
It was a lot of things that we covered, but one of those, somebody had referred that book to me, and right now I know my purpose.
Right.
But a lot of people still don't, and that's one of the things we'll discuss further too, going into relationships is, you kind of walk into a relationship without knowing who you are. And I'll say this even for women, because I'm covering two things. A lot of women, once they get into a relationship, lose themselves in the relationship, lose themselves in the marriage, that they never discover themselves.
What?
Right.
Listen, because
I'm about to start speaking in tongues.
so that's something I learned, from being married at one point, being divorced, and then speaking to hundreds of women and polling hundreds of women about what they went through and what they're going through, and that is an issue and a topic that women need to, in order for women to become better women. At some point in time, after the kids are grown or in the process they have to find themselves.
Yes, you have to find your purpose.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, you lose yourself. It's easy.
Once my daughter graduated, my daughter's 20. I know I don't look like I have a 20-year-old, but I do. But okay.
Right.
But once my daughter graduated, you know what I mean, and I was just like, okay, I can do me now. And I found my purpose. That's how I feel like, and no one can distract me from it.
Right.
That's how I feel like no one can distract me from my purpose.
Right.
Appreciate
that.
And it's a good feeling.
Right. So
it's a
right
good
now,
feeling.
in this moment, is this part of your purpose? Is this your
Absolutely.
purpose-driven life?
You better say it.
Ah, come
This
on.
is my purpose-driven life. Like, that's how I feel, you
Right.
know. Once that whole thing was out
Purpose
the
equals
way.
passion.
Yes,
Right.
purpose
Right.
definitely equals passion, and when you find something that you're passionate about, you know.
Right.
And I think,
a lot
like
of
you,
people don't know that.
right, and I think that's the problem with a lot of women. Like, I don't want to say this, but I have to say it. It's like your main purpose or your main objective should not be based on a man. And I know that's kind of like,
Woo!
I mean, I don't want to get punched.
This is-
Like, are there any punch emojis up there? I don't want to get punched. But I'm really serious about this. A lot of they base their whole being around, you know,
Right.
catering to a man.
But-
Go ahead.
You know, that is an easy, and I'm gonna agree with you.
Okay.
But if I was gonna play what we call devil's advocate with
Uh-huh.
that, we can say that's biblical.
And that's why I said I hope I don't get punched.
Biblically, when you think about what the woman's role, what you were intended for, what your purpose was,
Right.
was for man.
Right.
Okay, so some people would say, well, that was what you were created for.
Right.
But now, as we fast forward,
Right.
light years ahead,
Right.
women's lib has now kind of surpassed the old thought process.
But I'm gonna as a woman, your purpose should be finding God first. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Okay.
So
Okay,
let
fine.
me break. It should be God first. Not you don't go after the husband first. You seek God first, and when you seek God first, that fulfills you. So He's gonna start leading you into the direction of your purpose.
Okay.
Yes.
Ooh,
And
okay.
once you get your purpose going, can I get an amen?
Ooh.
I need some amens
No.
out there. But once God
Wait,
starts
you
to
need to
lead you in your purpose,
Go,
I'm ready for you.
Go with me.
Once you seek God and He begins to lead you in your purpose, then you are being all you can be
Right.
to be a good helpmate for,
Okay.
Right.
to
Right.
be a good helpmate for
Okay.
a man.
Yesterday, I'm going to say some very inflammatory stuff. Some people are going to really not
Don't
like what I'm
curse.
about. I'm not going to.
She said, "Don't curse."
Okay.
No F-bombs.
People are not going to like the person I use as a reference.
Okay.
When I left the forum, when I left the breakfast yesterday, the men's breakfast yesterday, I was so on. I was so on. I was so on fire yesterday. Okay, and I didn't have anybody to talk to, so I kind of went back into looking for something that I heard, almost 20 years ago, which from a pastor that a lot of people don't like because of the sins that he committed, which is Bishop Eddie Long, who is now no longer with us.
Okay.
Well, Bishop Eddie Long, at one time, was a dominant preacher, pastor that people respected before he got caught into his scandal, with young men.
Okay, I remember
But
him now.
prior to that, there were some things that I learned from Eddie Long,
Right.
biblically. And one of them was, if you look at Ephesians 5,
What he
oh, listen, come on, listen. If we go back to, when a man and woman,
Ephesians 5, y'all.
Okay.
Look it up.
get your Bibles.
there you go, okay? When they should leave the nest,
2hot4church.
what they say is that a woman and a man, thou shalt cling to the man. It is a man's job, and this was his sermon. It is it's a man's job to fix the woman.
Wow.
Hold up.
Why? It's a man's, and why? And you have an issue with this, because God created man.
Right.
So when he says is that when man is right with the Lord and walking in spirit with
Yes.
the Lord,
Yes.
okay, once
Yes.
he is walking in the spirit,
Yes.
You better preach.
Moses was a true example. Okay?
Right.
He was leading Moses. Moses was scared with, hey, God, don't use me because I don't speak well. And what did he tell Moses? I didn't tell you that I wasn't. I got this. I'm going to use you for my purpose. So, listen, just like Daniel, okay?
Right.
He used them. So when you think about the process of what God did, when you're walking in the spirit, what the Ephesians 5 says is that the woman shall cling to her man. And that the man, when he's upright and walking in the spirit, then his spirit will cover the woman. Okay, and the woman shall be repaired. All that is wrong with her will be fixed and redeemed. Just like when you walk with God,
I'm
no
in
matter
church.
what sin you
Preach,
have
you
committed,
better preach.
okay, when God gets to
Preach.
you, God will fix you and use you for His purpose.
Yes, yes.
All right.
Hallelujah.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Bless your name. Bless your name. Bless your name.
Collection plate. Send around the collection plate, please.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean it.
Wait, where's my can you pass me my no really like
We need the parking lot.
yeah, right
fund.
now it's right there. No, we need an offering.
That's the offering.
Where's
for
the,
the
you know
parking
what?
lot
They
fund.
take credit cards now. Okay.
Let's swipe.
Swipe it.
Swipe.
Jesus.
I'm sorry.
Woo!
You know, he got his head sweating and everything now.
I feel like I'm in the pulpit right now.
Get him in the pulpit. Get him a fan. This church has got to be hot. He's sweating.
I feel the anointing in this room tonight.
I'm sorry.
We done went from love sex to relationship to pulpit.
2hot for church.
You open that door.
Listen, 2hot for church. We bring thought-provoking talk from the pulpit to the streets.
But that's the whole idea. The reason why we have so much difficulty is because there is no longer a requirement for the man to operate the way that he should operate. We accept him even when he's ill-prepared for us. Right. And then the women are now, because they allow and they just go for whatever, you're not looking for the man who's prepared. We had a conversation the other day, and I said all of the characteristics of what a man should be is already written in the Word.
Right.
I said you'll find him with the heart of Moses. He's a leader. You'll find him with Jeremiah. He's a prophet. You'll find him with Abraham, who had great faith in God. Right? You'll find him with David, who again was king.
Yes.
So that's the way we want to think and talk and be with our man. Right? So if you start to look for the characteristics, even the characteristics of a Peter, who is the protector. If you look for these characteristics, it's riddled throughout the Bible about what women should be looking for.
Collection plate.
No, and the reason I'm not even trying to be deep and biblical.
But you are though.
But what I'm saying, and the reason why is because we keep trying to make sense out of nonsense. As women, we keep trying to fit the square peg in the round hole. It don't work. And so what we gotta do is we have to really mentally, hunker down and say, listen, if you don't possess these characteristics, I'm not telling you to bring this laundry list. All you got to do is talk to him for about 2 weeks. And you can tell what a brother's character is. What is his moral fiber like? Is he conscious? Is he in touch? I'm not talking about his feelings in the way of he's sensitive. I'm talking about in his feelings in regards to what it takes to be in a relationship. So if he is not doing that, maybe you should rethink whether or not you want this brother in your circumference.
Right,
Because he can be fire, he could be all of that. He could be good, but he may not be good for you because you, ma'am, have a standard. Wait, but then my brothers also have a standard. And their standard is to aspire to be greater. And what they need is their RUTH.
I got my room. I got my room. Yo, she laid at the foot with Boaz.
You better say it. Now, I'm not really trying to be, I'm telling you that there are some key things that we have not been practicing as a general rule for our lives. And we accept whatever and we allow whatever to take place in our lives. And then we walk away angry and broken, feeling defeated, like nobody has the capacity to love me. And the truth of the matter is, that is not the truth. You just keep dealing with bottom feeders. I'm serious. No, men do it too. No, I'm not just talking to the women. Men do it too. You keep going, and the person does not have the capacity to love you.
Come on, say it. Say it again.
Right.
Say it again.
Right.
Okay.
Now wait.
It's Coker. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I'm
Yes.
done now.
That's Kim Love Jones,
Listen,
honey.
I'll
That's
say
Kim.
this.
That's Kim.
If you like all that you're seeing and hearing now,
Yes.
we got to thank Janice. But I will
Yes.
tell you this. Come down to emotion.
Yes.
Come to the
I'll
emotion.
be
May
there.
14th,
I'll be
we
there.
will be there.
Kick
Maybe
it
In the
off.
building.
May
In the
14th,
building.
Bringing it back.
We're gonna be popping and locking.
How many years
We're
we been on
popping.
hiatus?
We're popping and locking. That's what we're doing.
Oh, we've been on hiatus
For like 2.5
Yes.
Yeah, we
two and a
started
half
12, we
years.
ended in 16.
Yes.
Yeah.
16.
16.
So we've been on hiatus
We're
almost
gonna
3
bring it
years.
back.
Yeah.
Yes. It gets better.
Listen,
on
and I'll say
down.
this, it's a lot of people
down.
that have reached out to Kim.
Yes.
And I gotta be very honest. When Kim called and said, and those of you know, I have a very busy lifestyle. I've entered into the political arena, for a little bit. I've, done a lot of mentoring, a lot of different things. And when Kim called and said, hey, Darren, we got to get this form back. There's a lot of people. She continued it with writing a book, and she created the Facebook page. And she has a lot of people that were asking. She goes, we got to get the form back.
Yeah.
I was a little hesitant. I'm a little reluctant. I'm like, Kim, I'm chilling right now. Just
Enjoying his boo-boo.
Yeah. I'm involved. I'm happy now. I don't run the streets and all that stuff no more. Y'all see what I do. I hang out, I eat and drink with my sweetheart, and I play a little bit. But I really think that this was important.
Yeah.
That we have a responsibility. I know what my purpose is, and so in addition to what we do, I also know that God has called us as vehicles to be able to reach out to those individual people who need help. And we are the vehicle. Emotions is one of the vehicles that people can jump into, and that we can offer. We can offer you a platform, as Russ said earlier. But in addition to offering you a platform, we all have some professional experiences and certifications and qualifications that we can offer you services, beyond that, because it's not just about having fun. It's not just about, coming out and having a socially good time. It's about getting it right this time.
Right.
And we got a lot of things to fix in our relationships.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
It's so important. It is definitely important.
Yeah, I seen that, so I'm with you. I seen that. We gotta fix that fast.
Right.
We gotta fix that. I seen that.
We gonna pause y'all for 1 minute.
So, can somebody do a commercial? Hold on. Wait. Hold on. Y'all give us 1 second. Let me see something.
Pause for the cause. Gotta pay some bills.
That's what we do.
Hey.
Okay.
Oh, the thing is not even on here. I was trying to connect that to that.
So we didn't watch. So listen, we just gonna add in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right back.
Okay.
We'll
Sexy
be right
chocolate.
back. Right, sexual chocolate.
Hey, one thing I gotta say that
Are we still live? Okay.
Yeah.
Listen. So listen. Say what you gotta say. Right.
one thing I say that when Darren and I walked away from the forum a few years ago, we left it with Kim. Kim took it and she continued with it, and she took it to some other levels where we did. We presented a certain type of format in a certain unique way, but then she took it in another direction and made it hers and made it her own, which continued to inspire her to write her book and so forth. And the effects that the whole Emotions had from when we started it into when Kim continued with it is every blue moon Kim would invite us or tell us, hey, we're having the forum, we want y'all to come, Russ, Darren, come by, Sometimes, we're too busy, we never made it by, but every now and then we make it like a little appearance and pop up on the forum. And the love that was always shown just by making an appearance, just popping up on the forum, that she continued maybe a year or two later. And the love that was shown by the people that were still attending the forum and by Kim herself, and the welcome in that, and the appreciation of us just popping up and showing up and saying hi, how you doing, and sitting in on her forum. That showed me how much of an effect that this Emotions Forum had on Kim and on the people that attended the forum. So
Yeah, it really did, Russ. Let me just say it. I went out to the nautical mile, and I met up with some folks, and they said to me that, Kim, you got to bring the forum back. The forum really changed my life. It really, really changed my life. And so because it did what it did, it's important. That's why I came back to you guys like, come on, we gotta, try to do the forum again. Let's do what we do, blah, 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 right?
Right.
It's important because from what I'm understanding from them is that this forum really changed a lot of people's lives. It really, really did. People said, I think differently. I don't operate the same way anymore. I do things just completely different now because of that forum.
Yes, absolutely. I would agree.
Yeah.
And listen, we are experiencing, a little bit of this. So we live. We're trying to create some things and do some things so that we can continue to stay live.
Right. Right.
So I don't want to let the secret out, but
right.
In the garage on the shelf, we can get what we need. Okay.
In the garage on the shelf.
Yeah.
Wait.
Camera's turned.
Hey, we still here.
Wait.
Don't look up.
Right.
Are we good?
No,
Yeah,
it's
now
bigger
we're
now.
crooked.
We crooked. It's a little slanted.
Y'all know that's how you know when you have technical difficulties.
Right.
Yeah, we're gonna fix that too.
Right. We're gonna
that
fix
needs to be
it. We're
fixed.
having a little bit of technical
I
difficulty.
may have to step away for a second to find what we need.
Right, in the garage.
In
Right.
the garage.
Right. Right.
I gotta
Let's see.
shout out my man that's on here. Man.
Yeah,
Old
you
time
got
man.
a lot.
My man Brooklyn's own one, Will Pack, MC Will Pack. I saw that comment you made about the
Take
it's
off
very
your,
funny.
We are having some difficulty. Take off your mic.
Can you hear me? Am I, because I'm back, can you guys hear me? Is my mic in? My mic sound nice?
Well, what
I
happens
think
when a
my wife
woman
is out
finds a
there watching.
broken
What's up,
man and
Mama?
she fixes him, and she fixes him? It happens all too often. It happens all too often. I don't know, to be honest with you, Yolanda, I'm just going to speak on that. I don't know that a woman can fix a man. I mean, honestly, he has to want to be fixed. I mean, when you think about that, and you think about who a man is before you meet him or when you meet him, I don't know that a woman has the capacity, honestly, to fix a man. And
Wow.
I really mean that.
Wow.
I think he has to want to be, better. I think he has to want to change his life. I don't think we have the capacity to fix him. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So just based on what you're saying, Yolanda, it happens. You know what? What happens is that a man comes into a woman's life and he makes a conscious decision that he wants to change because he falls in love with her. It's not her fixing him. It's because she might have patience or kindness and he sees her loving kindness towards him, that then he starts to change his heart and starts to do things differently. She is not changing him. That man has made a conscious decision that he wants to change his life because of her.
Wow.
Does that make sense?
I like
I hope
that.
that makes sense.
Let's ask this: should a woman come into a relationship thinking she can or should change a man? Should she come in with her construction hat on and get to work and start working on changing the man?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely.
Absolutely
Change your
not.
opinion on that.
Absolutely not.
Wait, what's the
Because
question?
you
The
can't-
question is, what was
Should
the
a
question?
woman
Should a
put on her
woman?
construction hat and
and-
come in and think she can work on the man and change a man instead, or just finding the man that fits her standards? Does she think she said, this is a man that can fit my standards, but I'm feeling this man and he's not all my standards, I'm going to fix him. I'm going to go in there and work on this man. Put my construction hat on and start working on this man. Something
That's
to talk about.
deep.
Put that on the
No,
calendar.
because I just had this conversation. I really, really did. Okay, that's
ahead.
a touchy
Go ahead.
one.
Talk about it. We gotta fix the cameras a little
Yes,
quick.
That's a touchy one, y'all.
It's leaning. Yeah.
Okay,
It's a little-
we got
okay,
it. Is this good?
Okay. Yeah. All right. There we go.
Okay. That
Okay.
is a touchy topic because it's like, as women, we go for potential a lot.
Yeah, we talk about that.
Yeah,
potential business.
we go for potential instead of, like he said, getting someone who Russ. Thank you. I like that.
What he said?
I said he. Right. He was like Russ.
Right.
But just like Russ said, a woman. Gosh. Okay. Just like Russ said, when he was asking the question, should a woman come in and try to fix a man, or should she go with someone who meets her standards?
Right.
try to build the man into what she wants.
Right.
Or she should just find the man that she wants and don't come in with her construction.
Right, because some men are good. Like some men are really, really good men, but they have some issues.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's so like, I don't know.
But there's nothing wrong with that. See, this is what happens, and this is why
everybody's got issues.
This goes back to this.
Right.
It's the communication piece again.
Mm-hmm. Right.
That has to be strong. That has to be the number one thing that works in a relationship. Mm-hmm. So even when you find those imperfections in your partner,
right,
you have to be able to talk about those imperfections.
Yes.
The reason why is because
oh my God.
Listen, I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna get in trouble for it.
You always get in trouble, Darren.
Because you asked this question earlier about being able to expose your personal stuff. If I'm not real with you and I'm honest with you, then me hosting with them is pointless.
Right.
Okay?
Right. Authenticity.
Right. It's pointless.
But he's gonna get in trouble later. But at least
so when I wake up in the morning, I'm a little noisy. I developed allergies. I can't breathe. Sometimes, So when I wake up in the morning,
you need a neti pot.
I gotta blow my nose. I gotta clear my, I gotta do all these things. But I have to be conscious enough that, when my spouse is asleep, that she sleeps. So I gotta make sure I close the bathroom door and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
But we talked about that, which was like, babe, like you noisy.
Right, like be quiet.
Like
for real, I'm trying to sleep.
Like you noisy in the morning.
You noisy. You gotta say it
right, exactly. Right. So it's like, okay.
You mad.
Right. You noisy.
So I had to, be conscious of that and be able to say, you know what? Let me go. Let me close the bathroom door. Let me just not go and turn the light on, go in there and start doing my business, okay? And clearing my throat and blowing my nose and,
right.
and whatever.
And
then
passing gas.
Now she's awake, I'm gonna throw something in here. This is a topic.
About passing gas?
No. This is another topic.
We're not talking about that.
No, but this is a topic.
Bodily functions, okay?
This is a topic.
This is 2hot4church.
This is a topic. And somebody asked this question. I forgot I was watching it, and we were watching it, which was, do you want to hear your partner's bathroom habits? Or bodily functions.
Oh.
No.
So that's part of the conversation.
You have to do it. So
Exactly. But some people think like it's natural. I got to do it. What's the big deal? And if I love you and we're together, then that's part of the relationship.
Right.
What?
Hey, let me tell you something.
No.
When I'm in the bathroom handling my business, my wife will come in there and be doing her hair right after that's how we do.
I'm that chick. I'm that chick.
Okay. Okay.
Yes. What's your wife's name? Michelle. I'm that chick.
Okay.
I feel you. I'll be all up in the bathroom.
Okay.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Right. But
she be complaining along the whole way.
Because you stink. Like.
This is conversation.
Okay. All right, y'all. Bodily functions, really?
There are some people who don't want to hear it, who don't want to smell it.
Some people.
My sweetheart is saying over there in the audience, she's saying that's her. Okay.
So wait, do you go in the bathroom with? He's thinking.
When you say you go to the bathroom, I light up the incense.
I don't know if y'all can hear that.
Yes.
You don't want to hear it. Really.
But you know what?
No,
we were listening to this
talk.
conversation someplace else, and she said, "Babe, like I really don't." I said, "How come you never said anything?" And we talk about everything. And she was like, "I told you, but I didn't think we needed to have a drawn out." I'm like, "Yeah, you needed to express that to me, like, so I can be more conscious
about
so that I don't do it. I can't stop doing something that you don't like unless you tell me that you don't like.
Right. That's that communication.
And that's that communication.
Yeah, that's that communication.
That's that communication. Yeah. So I see my brother Prince Haile, is watching. Shout out to my brother who has his own talk show. Prince, I'm coming on your show, brother. I'm coming on. We just gotta connect. We gotta do this thing.
He is so good with the comments. Because it just be me and you. I be going behind.
Shout Shout out to Ron Bell Smith. He's one of the original Emotions people.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
out
Hey,
there now.
Rob. That's
Rob,
my
what's going
brother,
on?
Rob.
But listen, relationships. I know you had another question, Janice, in regards to, how the Emotions Forum is going to continue to work.
Mm-hmm.
We're looking to really save as many people as we can, help as many people as we can.
Right.
Listen, sometimes we have failed relationships with our brothers,
Right.
with our sisters,
Mm-hmm.
and not realizing why we have these issues.
Right.
And this is what me and Kim talked about. We got to go back to the basics of understanding this. And I'm going to throw this out there, but I want you guys to be able to come regulars at the forum because we got so many topics to cover.
Right. Right.
As parents, when we bear children,
Right.
it is our responsibility to pour into our children. And what we fail to pour into our children, we often send them out into the wilderness without any training.
Right.
And if we don't pour into them, what happens is once they go out into the wilderness, and they now go into the wilderness looking for love or finding love or getting into a relationship, they are empty.
Right.
And that empty person now knows not what to look. They don't know what to seek. So now when they find something,
Right.
they're just as lost. They find somebody else that is empty and lost.
Wow.
And you have the blind leading the blind.
Right.
And then now
Which is why that was important, what you said a little while ago.
Right. Now
Right.
you have children, and now the deadly cycle continues.
Continues.
Yeah.
Okay? And this is where we are now, the continuance of us as parents. And listen, we know parenting doesn't come with a handbook, but we got to get better. And this is why the
Right.
forum becomes important, because we got to start discussing these issues
Right.
and figuring out where we went wrong.
Right.
How do we get better? And am I willing to get better? Because Kim talks about this all the time. In a relationship, am I willing to serve?
Right. Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Am I willing to serve the other person?
Right.
Am I willing to compromise? Am I willing to sacrifice?
Right.
And a lot of people are not willing to
They're
do
not.
those things. And those
They're
are three
not.
words. Serve, compromise, and sacrifice.
Right.
Say it again.
And
Serve,
you-
compromise, and sacrifice.
Serve,
Wow.
sacrifice, and if you're not willing to do that,
Don't even be in a relationship. Just throw the whole relationship away.
right.
Right, no, like, and that's part of the reason why, because you get kind of stuck in this vicious cycle. We get stuck,
Right.
and then okay. Here's my thing: like a lot of women are single, right, and then they'll meet a guy, right, and they really everybody wants to be in a relationship, and then maybe the guy wants to be in a relationship, but the guy might not be a good fit for you. But women don't always recognize that right away, right?
Right.
So I'm trying to help my sisters to understand what to look for. Because if they don't have it all together in terms of what to look for, they're
Right.
going to fall short and then get into the same type of scenario that you're talking about. Because they want to be fulfilled, and so they want to meet somebody who can, in a real way, I don't want to say complete them, because that's not what you want to be looking for. But that's what they do. They're like, I don't want to be lonely. I don't want to be by myself anymore. I want to be, I want somebody in my life. I want somebody, you know what I mean? So because they think like that and they go ahead and they get involved with somebody and that person is not operating at the level that they need for them to operate at, or they truly need.
Okay.
Not what they want, what they truly need.
There you go.
Right?
Two different things.
Right.
Different things,
They
right,
end
right.
up in a relationship with somebody, and then now they broken. They might even have kids, or they might decide to get married and make a serious commitment. And what ends up happening is that person is not it, and now you're all messed up. You're miserable. That person, now y'all fighting like cats
Then
and
y'all got
dogs.
kids involved. And
Right. Now you got kids, and whatever else. It can make and it's a vicious cycle. So now your kids grow up and think that is the way
That's
that's the standard
That's
for them,
standard.
and they don't know anything different.
Yeah. Kevin Boone says that most kids look at their parents' relationship as far as what they hear and see.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And this is
They mimic it.
this
Yeah.
is what we go wrong. Kevin, you are absolutely right. And what happens is I had this conversation with my daughters, and this is key. Okay, we often lie to our kids. We often don't tell them the truth, and what we tell ourselves is that I'm protecting them.
Yeah.
I'm protecting them because we're protecting them from our nonsense.
that we don't want to fix.
And if we was at the emotions forum, I would word that differently. Okay.
Yes, but if you're on 2hot4church.
Yes. Right.
We tell ourselves that we're protecting them from what we don't want them to hear or see. But in the family, our families have issues. This goes into another point. I'm going to use this as an example. You know, Ruth, my fiance, is a behavioral therapist. She works with children.
Oh, that should help.
so just so you guys know, she does monitor my behavior.
Right. Good. Right. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. She's a very smart woman. Okay. But what happens is that we also work with children that are on the spectrum and that are autistic.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
And so what happens is we have a friend of ours that created a foundation because she has a son that's autistic. And she wrote a book about it. And the thing is that oftentimes in the Caribbean and African American communities, we don't express to the world that we have a sibling or a child that has some type of disability.
Right.
Because it is embarrassing. So what we tell ourselves is that we don't want to tell anybody because I'm afraid of being ostracized by what the world is going to think. Okay, and we roll with that. We always, and you feel me on this. Everybody had a cousin, and I'm going to use this word. I'm not going to use this word. Everybody had a cousin that was a little slow.
Right.
That was a little off.
On a small
yellow
bus.
I was use the R word.
Mentally challenged.
There was mentally challenged. That wasn't right in the head. Can't get right. You know. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
Won't get right.
Can't get right. Won't get right. Can't get right. Y'all know what I'm talking about. And what you hit him in the house, you hit him in the closet, you didn't know.
Did you say I hit him in the closet?
No, but people did that. It might sound funny now. They literally did that. The child with the disability was not allowed. Now I have an autistic grandson, but he's absolutely brilliant, and it's the first. Well, it's the only autistic, but it's the only first autistic child in my family. You know what I mean? And my grandson is freaking brilliant. He just doesn't function like other people function. He doesn't think the way other people think. But he's absolutely, like, he talks about quantum physics, and he's like, now he's 8. Wow. Yeah, and he's 8 years old. But he processes differently. But he's brilliant. Wow. You know, but just because he's autistic doesn't. But years ago, there's a lot of shame.
There was no clinical diagnosis for him.
There's a lot of shame connected to mental disability and tied to our inability to relate to one another in our relationships. There is a lot of shame, which is why people place blame. Because they don't want to be the ones that got this thing wrong. So if your kids get messed up, it's their fault. Because I've got it all together. It's not my fault. That comes from their daddy's side or their mama's side. So they closet Uncle Ray. He was crazy. So now, nobody talked about that. But it's right. And so it gets hidden. And nobody talks about the real issues.
And that's the secrets that we keep.
Yes, right. Instead of getting therapy, instead of talking about the stuff that's really bothering you, or check this out. This is what my thought process today, and I know you've heard me say this before. If you meet somebody, right, or let's say you go to the mall, and you're at the mall and you see somebody in a wheelchair, right? The immediate response is, that if they are in that wheelchair being pushed by somebody or pushing themselves, that they are operating at a deficit. They are not able-bodied. They are not getting up. They're not walking, right? But then if you go and you see some of these able-bodied people, what it is it's a hidden disability.
Right.
And what happens is a lot of times we do not pay attention to the fact that people sometimes don't have the capacity to love you, or they can only love you to a certain degree because that's part of their environment, their upbringing. Some of that is DNA. Some of them never got a hug or got love at home. It just is what it is. And so now you enter into relationship with them and you say, you've got to say to yourself, I'm all in. I'm going to accept it all. Because everybody is operating at a deficit somewhere in their lives. Somewhere. Right? But some of us, put makeup on and we cover up our blemishes and our spots. And sometimes, our hair and we put on clothes, but we don't want to be naked for real in front of, because we don't want anybody to see that underneath this there's
a mess.
Listen, a hot
mess.
Wait. A hot bona fide mess.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
HBM.
Right.
So we're creating acronyms right now.
Right.
But,
HBM.
Right.
Russ said it.
Right.
I told you Russ was quiet. Okay.
This is, you know, we have so many things that we need to cover. Yeah. Emotions is going to be the place that you can come and you can express whatever it is that you feel that you need to express. If you need answers to questions, and the answers may not even come from us.
Right,
It
because
may come from
right.
It may come from
other people in the room.
Right.
Yes.
Now, at one point in time, I'm going to throw her a shout out. At one point in time, when we first started, remember we had Cherie.
Yes, Cherie Deutsch. Yes.
Cherie Deutsch, and she used to come down and she's a psychoanalytic psychotherapist.
Yeah.
And she would come down and she would sit in. Because she would often, offer her services, and sometimes free advice to help people get through this situation.
Right.
It is so deep. We have to get ourselves together.
Yeah. We do.
So my brothers, listen, there's another outlet that we can go to.
Where it's just the men.
Where it's just the men. But
right.
For emotions, when you talk about dealing with an individual in a relationship, or whether it's a relationship with your kids, or whether it's a relationship with your mother, your father.
Yeah.
We are the hot spot.
Mm-hmm. Right.
We are the truth.
Yeah.
We are love, sex, and relationships.
Yeah.
Emotions is going to bring you fire. It's going to bring you truth. It's going to bring you honesty, and it's going to bring you services. It's going to bring you help. It's going to bring you relief.
Right. It's real.
It's going to bring you some fun. It's going to bring you some joy. We're going to laugh. We're going to joke. We're going to have fun. But we're gonna get to the nitty gritty, and as they say, we're gonna go from the rooter to the tutor.
All right, that's
the rooter to the tutor.
And have fun.
Denise, you had another topic you wanted to discuss tonight. Real quick, what was that?
No, I had another question.
Oh,
yes.
What was it?
We go with the question because on the last show that we did, remember we asked this question. The question was, do you think that church is a good place to meet someone? Remember we talked about that on our last show?
Yeah.
And people went berserk.
What was the question again?
Is church a good place?
Is church a good place to meet someone?
No.
Ooh.
What? No. But let me break it down. I said it was, and the reason why I said it was because if my partner goes to church, this was my thought, my frame of thought back then, before that last show that we did. Right? Well, what happened was I felt like each if you went to church, you would understand why I go to church so much, because I am always in the church. I'm very active in the church. I'm just always there. So I felt like if, God gave me someone that was also a part of the church, that he would just understand that, Genense is always in the church. She's always doing stuff, and it would be no beef. So I presented that on, I think it was our last show. And when I tell you the response that I got, no one thought that church was a good place to meet a guy or a partner. And I'm just like, wait, what?
Do you know why?
Why? Tell us why,
Do you know why?
I got a good response from the audience at that time, and
My brother Keith Burgess, Pastor Burgess is watching. Okay.
Hey, Keith.
What's good?
Yo, Keith, I'm about to set this joint on fire.
He's a cook, him and his wife.
And you ready to disagree with me, brother? We're going to have to go in on this. Church is not a really good place. Do you know why?
Why?
Jesus, help me.
Tell me why, Darren.
Church has become a place where people are getting preached happy. But there is no truth in church.
Wait a minute. You say?
There is no truth in church.
Really?
And I'm coming from a place of.
No, explain to me why there's no truth in church. I need you to break this down.
There's no truth in church.
Mm-hmm. No truth. He said no truth.
You got people that are sitting in those aisles and those pews that are being preached happy from church to mega church to place. And trust me, I've been to a small church, a medium church, to a super large church to a mega church. And I'm telling you, as deacon and president of a men's ministry, people are living a complete lie. A complete lie.
Wait a minute.
Listen.
Wait.
This is personal for me.
Tell the truth and shame the devil.
Right.
Personal.
You got people sitting in those pews that are praising Jesus, praising God, catching the Holy Ghost, and walking out those church doors.
And acting crazy.
The first thing they do is cuss you out the parking lot.
Yes, that's true. That's true. That's true.
Well, Sister Jones, what just got
Why you had to say Jones?
Yeah,
Right.
That's my mama. Like, that's my mama's maiden name. Yeah, can we change your last name?
we just got to finish praising the Lord and having prayer together, okay?
Somebody said Darren wrong, but I'm going to say this is based on his experiences and his opinion. There's no right or wrong.
No, but he said that before Darren broke out the last part.
Right. So I will tell you, I have my own personal experiences, and I'm going to tell you that based on...
No, it's true, Darren.
Okay.
They're not... The reason why is because most of the church is a hospital.
Ooh.
It's a hospital for sick people. And so the minute a man walks in the door, if everybody pounces on him, the deacons, first of all, want to accept him into the fold. If he gives his life to Christ, he joins the church. Now everybody is, welcoming this brother, right? But that's not the issue. That's not the real issue. The real issue is if this is his first time, or whether he was in the church before, left, was broken, hurt, you need to give this brother time to heal. A lot of sisters will then turn around and be like, "Ooh, it's a man up in the church. How you doing? How you doing?" So no, and it's true. And so the real deal is that because it's a hospital, some people, not all people, are not truly living authentically. And see, we keep getting back to the Bible. I don't know. I kind of be undercover.
Let's go.
With myself.
Let's get there.
No, I'm good.
Let's get it.
I be undercover with
Let's
mine,
get it, sugar.
No,
let's get it.
Listen, Keith Burgess just said something. Keith said it's sanctified. It's a sanctified lollipop. Where if you don't preach my happy glad, I will put my finger out and walk right out your assembly. I need an invite, Janice.
We're going to have Keith on the
And this is too hot for church.
Right. But but listen. But it's true because
I'm broken. I'm hurt from church.
Church
Somebody told me a
hurt.
long time ago that the worst hurt you'll ever experience in your life is from church.
Because
I'm done.
You know why?
I'm done. You done?
You done.
Done.
Listen, the reason why, and this is what the problem is, because a lot of people are in the sanctuary for the wrong reason. Your primary goal, if you're going to worship Christ, if you accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, if that's your primary goal, then don't get caught up in that now.
Yes,
because you're not there for all of that.
I just had this conversation. Yes.
You're there to grow, and then you're there to serve where you can serve. You ain't gotta be the head.
That's
I'm okay being in the background.
That's right.
As long as I'm being a blessing to the body.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yes, and that's what it's all about.
No shine.
Yes, being a blessing to the body.
Ooh. Right. Because I'm part of the body of Christ, and whether I'm the thumb or the pinky,
or
whether I'm the big toe,
I'm part of the body.
Right,
yes.
or the ankle.
Yes.
I am part of the body.
Right.
But when you come and your focus is elsewhere, therein lies the problem, because everybody want to be a leader, but everybody don't want to be led. And so you cannot come
with a collection plate, y'all.
Right, wait a minute. I'm about to listen. Can you give me a collection plate? I'm just playing. I'm joking. No, but this is some truth, because people get sideswiped and start thinking that people in the church is messed up. And the truth of the matter is they may be, but if you know better than your idea, what you're supposed to be doing is praying them through, not dogging them out.
Yeah.
You listen. There's only one pastor of the church. There might be a co-pastor, but basically the pastor is the head of the church. Yeah. Everybody else just know that they're a bunch of, whether they're deacons, deaconesses, trustees. I don't care what they are. There's not even a term in the Bible for a deaconess.
So
that's what man did. So that's what we got.
Operating in order.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And stop looking
and in order.
Right.
Okay.
And stop looking
what happens when the pastors are out of order?
Listen,
What happens when the pastors are out of order?
That's another talk show.
That's going to go back to what Keith was
show.
saying. Keith said it's supposed to be, Kim, but you can't deal with sick people if the man behind the curtain is the wizard of the ministry.
Listen,
my Lord,
we got pastors that are praying on the people.
No, that is true. There are pastors that are.
Okay.
There are pastors that are praying on the people.
Okay, so listen to me.
And we cannot act like that
Exactly.
doesn't happen.
Exactly.
But that is why a lot of people are turned off. There's bad in everything. You understand?
Yes, absolutely.
So I've learned to not ignore the bad,
Right.
but I try to see the glass as half full as opposed to seeing it as half empty.
Right.
Does that make sense?
It does.
I really
And
try to
that's
look
what it
at I really try to look at the bigger picture. You know?
And what is the bigger picture?
The bigger picture is that I enjoy being a servant
To who?
to I am part of the body of Christ.
Okay, let me stop you right there, Genense.
Go ahead.
Because most people enjoy being a servant to the man in the pulpit.
Who?
Listen, let's talk about it for real.
Well, if
We're people are not
When
serving the
the
Lord.
has you outside eating grass. That's a whole problem.
What are we
That's why I don't have too much input on this
Oh,
because
oh.
I have faith but I'm not religious. I believe and have faith, but I'm not religious.
I'm not religious.
So that's why I don't have too
Well,
much
who
input on this.
eating
I
grass?
don't follow man, I follow God.
Right, but there are some good preachers and pastors
But they
out
are
there.
overshadowed by the wolves in the pulpit. And I'm telling you, Genense, from what I see and what
Okay.
I know,
Okay.
is that what we have to understand now is that we have been exploited,
Right,
we are being abused,
right.
we're being taken advantage of.
Did you go to a Catholic church or something? I'm just playing.
I've been
That's what we're whole can of worms.
Look, that's a whole nother topic.
just like that.
That is a whole nother topic.
No, you said exploited.
Yeah, well, it's
Wasn't
getting
all the
in.
boy.
Right, exactly.
I cannot.
It's been just like the Catholic Church.
No, not entirely, Dan.
Oh, it's bad. This is the problem, Kim, and this is where we make different. Right now, we as people are being dominated by the man in the pulpit. People are not praising God.
Really?
People are praising the man in the pulpit.
That is at some.
That's why mega churches are being. People are going to these churches
That
because they're admonishing the person in the pulpit.
Yeah.
I love my pastor. I love my pastor.
Because there are some. No, because there are really some. There are really some good. No, there. Hold on. Okay, my mom Denise
Oh, so
says
you saying
yes.
that they gonna
There
drink the
are
Kool-Aid.
still good pastors out there.
They are.
There are still good
There are.
pastors out
There
there.
are. There
I'm
are.
telling you, there are.
There
And
are a lot of good pastors out there.
there
Right.
are some bad pastors out there who are,
But
like you
but
said,
the good
taking
pastors are
advantage.
being overshadowed by the bad pastors who are wolves and
And
sheep
she
clothing.
right. But there are still good pastors.
There are. And
There
you
are
define
pastors,
you
yes.
a church where you can worship with the word
Okay.
and the dog. The
Name
word.
a church.
Right.
Name
Susan
name
A.
a church.
Jones says,
Name
do not throw all up in the mix. Do
That's
not throw
right.
all. Right.
That's right.
Come on,
Say
Susan.
it, Susan.
Come on, Susan.
Say it,
Don't
Susan.
throw all up in the mix.
Right.
There are
Listen,
some
I
good
I
pastors.
told people this is based on my personal experience. And my personal experience is my personal experience. But what I will say is, listen, I do know quite a few good pastors that are still out there. Okay? But I know a whole lot of other pastors that are not as good. And this is personal for me.
Don't go
Right.
to their church.
Right.
Listen, I'm saying this openly.
Look, come to my
Okay?
church. No.
I'm
Right,
saying,
I know.
I'm saying this
That's the
openly.
plug, y'all.
I'm a Shiloh Baptist church.
I'm in prison
Listen.
for that, but that's the plug.
Sorry.
I have not been to church in 3 years.
Oh, whoa.
So then you know.
I worship God at home.
I
I
mean-
worship God. Listen, and this is a brother who
We're going in deep.
who
I
went
just
through
don't know how
various
to do that,
churches.
but it's fine.
Again, was a deacon who left, started going to theology school. There's some of the things I've experienced is there's no sincerity. Okay, there's no truth. And
Can we talk about that though?
and
Can
I
we
just-
talk about that? And
I'm done.
everybody, let me tell you something. People wonder all the time, how can I be this person in my life and be this type of person and doing all of this stuff over here and yet going through a whole bunch of stuff over here? Because that's what happens. We are not perfect people. It does not matter. Like, I'm not saying that it doesn't matter what these pastors, the ones that are bad, are doing. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is find you a church home, because we should never forsake the assembling.
Yes, yes.
So find you somewhere where the doctrine is sound, where they are teaching and preaching the word of God.
Yes,
Period.
yes.
The end.
Yes.
There are wonderful pastors out there. Now, they may be great orators of the word of God. They may study to show themselves approved, and they may fall short in the place of administration. They may not be good administrators.
Right.
They may can preach the paint off the walls, but fall short in other areas of their life. They may not be good having conversations and dialogue. They may sometimes seem unapproachable, but at the same time, maybe they're a little shy outside if they don't know you because they've been hurt before.
Right.
You understand? They are suffering the same human frailties
that
we all are.
That is so
and so
true.
what we do, though, is we start putting them on a pedestal, thinking that they are greater because of their title and their calling,
and they don't suffer
from anything.
Yeah.
And we have this great expectation that they have to be like infallible. Oh my God, you know. And then we mess it up because we ain't there to worship them.
Yeah.
If we keep our eyes on Christ, we don't have to worry about all of that. When we're put in positions at church, in those positions, you know what we're supposed to be doing? We're supposed to be serving and trying to make the situation better. Serving and praying. Worrying about all of their shortcomings is not going to help nobody to get saved.
Because leaders really go
While I
through
have a
it
little
worse. Leaders really go through it. I'm telling you, even worse than we go through it. Leaders go through it.
Go ahead.
This is my job with the Emotions Forum. What I normally do with the Emotions Forum. I'm the guy that reels us back to the topic. Yeah, we went left, we went right. In the history of the emotions topic, I was the guy that always says it's time to wrap up or it's time to reel it back to subject when we get offline. And I'm going to cast my line out and reel us back to subject.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
We're going a little deep left.
So right.
This is
too hot for church, honey.
Too hot for listen, Genense has been a gracious host.
Yes.
She is.
She has allowed us to have this open dialogue.
Thank you.
And supporting emotions.
Can we like try to go to at least like some of the comments?
Yes.
And then we'll fill it back in. All right, so let's start from.
So you'll take questions?
We're going to get off the topic of the church business right now.
Yes.
We said not everyone is messed up.
Pastors have become politicians.
Yes, there are some great shepherds.
You kind of addressed it as you were going.
Yeah, we did.
So let's talk about something, that I think that we can get back
We
to.
want to talk about becoming emotionally unattached
that was...
to someone who has broken your heart.
Okay. So if we talk about that.
Yes, let us.
Become emotionally unattached with someone that has broken your heart.
Right.
So,
let's talk about that.
Yes, let's talk about
Kim,
it.
Yes.
I have been broken.
Okay.
Hurt.
All right.
We keeping it real.
Okay.
Divorced.
Right.
Okay. How did I overcome that?
Right. How? Talk to us.
It wasn't easy.
You guys are
It helps.
that is
Russ, do
not
that
the
again.
answer.
Let's
Wait.
Absolutely.
You know what?
It
That
helps.
is not the answer. I can't.
You gotta talk to Johnny.
Listen,
You gotta talk to Jackie. You gotta talk to Johnny.
Talk to God. Let's talk to God.
Because he got a lot of names.
Do you see why
You bow down to him.
Do you see why men need women? Like, really?
Right.
Seriously.
We need women to
This is
keep
why
us
you
balanced.
need us.
We need women to keep us balanced. In all factors of our life. If it wasn't for my wife, I would right.
That's right. I like that. Yes, give credit where credit is due. Yes.
And I will tell you this: if Ruth wasn't in my life right now,
you'd be a hot mess.
I'm good. I mean,
No,
I've done
you
a
would
lot,
be a hot
but
man.
I wouldn't be the man that I am today.
That's
Mm.
right. That's
Right.
a good woman. That is what a good woman does.
But what I will say is this: is that through my past, and why you become emotionally broken or emotionally scarred, is because again, we're not dealing in truth, and when you're not dealing in truth, and I learned this from my kids, is that when we don't share the truth, Martin Luther King said this, but the truth should set you free.
That's true.
But everybody's not willing to be set free, and everybody can't handle the truth.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens is we suppress a lot of that, and in suppressing a lot of that, we allow ourselves to go into this drift land.
Mm-hmm.
And when we get into this drift land, it's hard to come back.
Yeah.
It's hard to come back. It's hard
Yeah.
to, when you get
It's
caught.
hard to like
Because the
trust.
longer you
you're
stay
over
there,
Yeah.
the harder it is
when
to
you're in
come
the
out.
quicksand, it's hard to reach up and grab that branch and pull yourself out.
Right.
And so what I'll say is this: is that it is tremendously difficult emotionally to come out of that unless you have a relationship with God. And I'm telling people that honestly, if it were not for God and it wasn't for me, I got baptized in Satan in 2007. I got divorced in 2005. I suffered mentally and emotionally from the hurt and pain. And what I can tell you is that if it were not for my relationship with God, okay, and me praying a lot, okay, that I would not be here today.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay? And it took strength. It took me going through a series of things. But when you think about the damage that was done, it takes years
To fix it.
for me, 10 years of getting over.
Yeah, I think it does.
Because it's just not the
I
spouse.
think it
So
does.
you stayed single for 10 years? Or were you just like dating but still kind of emotionally attached to that situation?
Papa was a rolling stone.
Oh,
Look,
okay.
He laid his hat was his
Okay.
home.
He was
Okay.
sowing his royal oats.
What was his name, King?
King
King Joppy Jewel.
Y'all crazy.
King Joppy Jewel.
Oh, God.
Oh,
Is this really emotions? Is this
Yeah, that's what. No, this is really what they do.
Right.
This is really what they
This is what
do.
we do. But you're right. So what happens is,
personalities.
I wouldn't say that completely, but what I will say is this, is that I met a friend, I met a woman that kept me honest. They kept me correct. So I for 10 years that I said I hurt, because it was 10 years of trying to figure some things out.
Right. You
Right.
took that time that a lot of people don't take. Oh,
Right.
wow.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of people don't take that time.
And in addition to that, it was 10 years of talking to a lot of women. I
Right.
surveyed a lot of women.
Right.
So when people ask, okay, listen, people quote, you're experts in this. I sat down, I wrote plans. I'm a former instructor. I wrote lesson plans. In addition to that, for what I did was I created my own program for mentoring adults and mentoring kids, and talking to people in relationships and trying to figure out and understand how do we get better. But it was through my own transgressions that I had to really put this stuff together.
Yes.
And it kept me honest with myself, and it kept me doing something that was constructive and positive.
Right.
And being able to go out and deal with other people and figure out what was the answer. But in the answer, emotions, and I'm just very honest here, emotions was therapeutic for me.
Yeah, for a lot of people.
And when me and
Yeah,
Russ talked
it's
about this when we
therapeutic.
first started,
Yeah.
and listen, Kim kept this thing alive for a long time, but me and Russ first thought about this.
The
Right.
power of a woman. Sorry,
We-
I had to throw that in there.
Listen, we had gone through our own stuff.
Right.
So we know
Right.
we understood we needed help. I
That's
was
why I
still
was
lost.
Right.
I needed an outlet. I needed to share and vent my stuff. But I also understood from my background that it gave me a platform to help other people, but I was helping myself.
That's right.
And now I'm great. But I'm still not done with trying to help other people
Right,
get to where I'm at right now.
Because that's how you heal.
Right, exactly.
So that's always
Right.
going
Right.
to be a
That's
part
part of the process.
Right.
of you.
Right.
now.
Right. That is part of the
Right.
process.
That is
So I thank
right.
Kim for really dragging and
Yeah.
pulling and tugging as she has to get us here now to May 14th, because
Was I dragging and tugging? Really? Really? I wasn't dragging and tugging.
I'm going to share something. Can I be honest with you?
Yeah.
I really didn't want to do this.
You didn't? Lies you
Is this a transparent moment?
Yes.
Lies he tells.
Okay, I'll reach out to the audience and ask my significant other, baby, did I really want to do this?
No.
Oh.
I didn't. I was like, you know what?
He said, Kim, that's great. I'm just kidding.
It requires a
No,
lot.
it does. I'm just kidding.
You know, it not only does it require a lot of us,
Right.
I'm in such a good place right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in a beautiful space.
That's one.
Yeah.
I love.
That's one. Ooh, I like that.
And I wasn't sure I wanted to share my space.
Oh, I get that. I get that.
I really, because Tuesday night is taking up part of my space. It's shit. It's
Yeah.
You cursed.
You said no cussing.
sorry.
No cussing.
Sorry, that's it.
Why are we getting hearts when someone drops the S bomb?
Okay.
Phil Florin Flynn. Give me
If
some
y'all have not
hearts.
gone to the $5 Tuesdays,
I cannot.
$5 Tuesdays, the movie theater at AMC theaters.
Is that a good
Yeah,
date?
which
Like,
one?
that's
All
what is
day
it?
night, all day
Yeah,
on
just in the
Tuesday.
morning.
No, all day.
In the morning.
I seen Avengers for $5 last week.
Where is this at? Oh, wait,
Go
hold
to
on.
AMC theaters.
Are we
You
going to
say,
correspond?
I just paid
Sponsors?
$30 for 2 tickets
Oh,
for the worst
no.
movie
Oh.
The worst? Okay, what is the worst movie
ever.
ever?
It's some Spanish horror movie, The Curse of the Hololora, whatever. That was the worst movie.
What is that? The curse. Anybody ever hear that?
The Curse of Yolanda Laura. It was horrible.
Why would you even go see that?
Because we only watch horror movies. There
Wow.
was nothing else out, so we thought we'd go to the movies, you know, and we said it's a
Okay,
scary
so
movie.
I'm gonna shit Janice.
What's
Listen,
scary?
I'm sorry about the
It's okay.
profanity.
It's too hot.
Well,
for
what
you.
happens is
It's
that
fine.
$5 Tuesday, go to AMC theaters, sign up for the Insider, which is free, which is part of their Stubs program, and every movie is $5. But in New York, it's $6. It's because they add $1 because we live in New York.
My mother said senior citizen.
I'm a senior too.
It's the AARP discount.
She said, why would you say he is
So,
not?
I haven't got my AAP card.
But
I'm
you-
over what? I'm over
I
50.
got mine too.
Oh.
I be getting hotel discount.
Okay. Hold on. The hotel discount is
Off
that?
topic, y'all. Forgive us.
Okay. So
This is their first
$5.
live. They've never even
Yeah, they
done
don't know how to
live
act,
like
y'all.
ever before.
Don't invite us on.
Oh, look, somebody saw that movie. I wanted to see that movie, The Curse of the Lala Piranha. Yeah, that's the movie.
That's
Whatever
my
that
daughter.
is. Don't waste your money. It's terrible. Wait for it
Right,
to come on
don't waste
Netflix.
your money. And yes, I have a membership with AMC. Okay, so you
Who
can
said
get
that?
it.
Who
That's
said
my
that?
daughter. That's Elena. But don't see the movie. He said it's a bad movie.
So Elena, listen. $5 Tuesdays. Yeah, Google this. On Tuesday,
Oh, my
every
God.
movie that you want to see in the country
Yeah.
is $6 in New York.
What are you doing?
Oh,
You gonna reel a second?
Pass the line.
Get back.
Okay, enough
I have an AMC membership. What? If somebody else has a Kevin Boone, you have one too?
Okay.
How do we know about this stuff?
Perfect
Because it's
example of
a
network.
good
So what I was saying is that for me not doing this is that's date night for me and baby. Me and my sweetheart. Yes, that's
That's sweetie.
Nobody puts baby in the corner.
everybody knows that's Sweetie. Sweetie was nobody knew who Sweetie was for a long time. Okay, but everybody knows who Sweetie is now. Okay.
I have a question.
Yes.
I have a question. You know, he in the hot seat now because now he want to talk about Sweetie.
Oh, you know.
Okay. So you're engaged. Let's congratulate, right? Congratulate you on your engagement. And this is what we do. This is what's up. But we want to, what made, like, where did you and Sweetie meet? And how did you know Sweetie was the one?
Oh, I remember that commercial. No, that question on the.
Yes.
A lot of people don't believe this. Sweetie doesn't even believe it.
You seen her.
No.
From across the room.
I did from across the room. And literally. Okay.
He was like, I want that woman. That's the woman
I'm
for
gonna,
me.
I'm gonna get in trouble here.
Oh, Lord.
No,
let
Darren's
me
going to go into this long
No,
story.
I'm not.
Yes.
Okay.
I already know.
I'm not going.
This
She's
is my
over there.
brother. I
She's
talk to him all
listening.
the
She's
time.
listening. So
She's-
it was love at first. It was love at first sight.
Oh, what? Did you just
It
admit
was,
that?
it was love at first sight. It
He
was
was
love
like,
at
I
first sight.
want that
Yeah,
woman.
it was love at first sight.
So love at first sight really does
Listen.
exist.
We were working together as parent advocates, I was already going through my divorce, with my ex-wife, and this young lady was in the room. I was the head of the cooking committee for the school that we were both attending for our children, and which was a Christian school. And as I was monitoring the food that all the parents had made and making sure we had enough food for everybody, she walked through this room, and it was two things that I noticed. She had a smile that lit up the room, but she had a great bottom. She had on these jeans that just took me to another place.
You know what?
The booty.
Right, the power of the booty.
Never mind how beautiful a smile.
The power of
He
the
wasn't looking at the
booty.
smile, he's looking at the vertical smile.
I'm being honest. But what happened was, and I'm quick.
Do y'all see my face?
The power of the booty.
I knew he was going to tell some crazy story. Because I heard the story before.
Hashtag the power of the booty.
Can I tell
Like,
you? So I
Hashtag
walked into the
vertical
room
smile.
where the water fountain was, and I said, good evening, how are you? And I said, when she spoke to her daughter, I said, I happen to hear a little bit of an accent. And she told me where the accent was from. And we just started talking. And at the time, I used to sell a lot of natural products like black soap, shea butter. My youngest daughter had eczema. So I sold a lot of natural products. So we started talking about the natural products. And she became a customer of mine. And then we just became friends. And then we were also advocates, through the school. And from that, it just kind of blossomed into this amazing, amazing friendship. And parents that care enough about their kids, and then she went through her situation. I was already going through mine.
Keith said, bro, you are more than transparent. You are see-through.
wait, and Regina Nixon said, black men, it always boils down to the booty. I cannot.
You not be looking at that booty.
I cannot.
I'm so silly. Y'all are being really silly today.
I cannot.
Listen,
It all
and I will
boils
tell
down
you
to
this
the
now.
booty.
Before she became who she is now, I prayed a lot for God just to send me a helpmate.
A helpmate.
A helpmate. Because I understood at that moment that I was in a place that wasn't good. And all I said was, God, I enjoyed being a husband when I was married. And I wanted the opportunity to be a husband a second time. Because I wanted to I wanted to become a better man than what I was. And I was looking forward to the opportunity, and I was looking forward to being better than what I was.
Wow.
And all I said was, God, give me a second chance.
My.
Show thyself approved.
Oh, here we go. We preach it
But
again.
wait a
We're the
minute.
collection plate.
But you know what? That's what I keep telling people. You cannot have a relationship in a vacuum. You know how I keep saying that? Because what we do is we think in theory we got this whole thing on lock. But you just know this stuff in theory. You have to apply what you know and see if this stuff really works out. And it's moments in your life you're just going to be tweaking things because maybe it didn't fly like you thought it was going to fly, or you weren't as good in that particular area as you thought you were because you only knew this stuff in theory. You didn't know it in practical application.
Sorry. Like, y'all with these comments.
Collection plate.
Eat collection plates. Oh my God.
Yo, Keith, I'm just being real honest.
Yes,
like
Kevin
you said,
says you preaching.
If
Preach,
we can't be
Darren.
honest about who we are and what we do, it's for what we looking to inspire to do and help other people and get other people to come out and to help them solve their issues and fix their issues. Between myself and Kim, what would be the purpose of the Emotions Forum, coming back? And I think that's our purpose right now, is to make sure that when we come back, that we come back better than what we were.
That's right.
I said
we
that.
Always,
Yeah.
I
you
said
and I always talk.
we are not
about that.
coming back doing the same thing we did before. We're gonna help you to be better.
Yeah.
And I know that each one of us has something incredible to add. Like, because I don't want people, we just get up, we had a good time, it was fun. But that's not really what, I want you to leave the emotions forum better than you came.
Yeah.
Even if it's worksheets, homework, emailing like, yo, do this, da 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 da. Connecting, networking. There's somebody in that emotions forum that can help somebody else. If it's just like, it could be any little thing, but I don't want people to come and leave in the same way that they were.
That's
the
right.
same way they
and
came.
you shouldn't.
No.
You should always
want to be
want
effective.
better. Yes, and be very effective. I like that. So you guys, do y'all realize that we've been on for almost 2 hours?
Oh my God.
I mean,
right. Now we
yes, let's
this one.
We got to wrap it up.
thank y'all. Oh my
I think
God.
start bringing the music up. I think your mom had asked earlier, which was,
And the music always connects to the topic.
we're going to be launching, if you go to either one of our pages, Kim Love Jones' page, Darren James' page, Russell Harris's page.
So it's just Russell Harrison? That's
Russell
Harris.
Harris.
Okay, so it's Russell Harris.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
It's DJ Buster Rhymes.
What's up? No T. What's up?
so it's can we spell it for them so they know? Okay, so really.
Mine is Darren, DARRIN.
Oh,
Green
boy.
is in color, GREEN. You can find me on
You don't
Facebook,
have to
Darren
look it
Green. Kim?
Kim Love Jones. You can find me on Instagram, K Love Jones 1. You can find me, y'all know y'all can find me on Facebook, Kim Love Jones. Or you can reach out to me at reallovejones.com, or you can call me at 516-513-8049.
And let me give you my phone number, 516-909-3864. If you're looking for some help or some advice, by all means, we're available.
I like
You
that.
can get me on Facebook. It's just straight up Russell Harris. Don't just Russell Harris on Facebook. You can hit me on Instagram, Man of Steel 50.
Email me.
Email me, Russ Harris 50
This is what
at
you do.
gmail.com.
So we got two things. So first we have Keith Burgess says, as a wedding officiant, our old conversations come up in the premarital coaching, right? Kevin Boone says, mindset is everything. And Regina Nixon says, I want to know how Brother Rush met his wife. It's not a typo.
No,
It is-
Rush is a typo.
Oh, okay. No, she meant
Our
it.
brother
We
Rush-
want to know.
Met his wife.
And that's our show for today. We
No, we want to know. Come on, Russ.
No.
Come on, Russell Bus. Come on.
Russell Rush.
Russell Rush.
You know, the rest of us. Like, we got. Everybody is out of control.
I'm gonna make this short, but
Okay.
right to the point. As we all know, I'm in law enforcement, and early prior to becoming an officer, we go through a background investigation and a background check and a lot of procedure. And I met my wife at the written psychological exam about a year prior to getting on the job. She's also on the job as well. She was processing for the job. I sat behind her in the psychological exam. When I walked in, she was there first. And I purposely sat behind her. It was an open chair behind her. And then she was sitting there, and I walked in, I was like, oh, okay.
Was it the power of the booty?
Was she looking?
Well, she was sitting down.
She was looking at
No,
she had beautiful hair.
it wasn't
It was a smile.
it
Like,
wasn't the power of the booty, it was the power of the beauty.
This is my love.
yes.
So I purposely sat behind her. I purposely sat behind her and struck up a quick conversation. I asked to see her driver. We had to put our driver's license on the desk. So I asked to see her driver's license. I wanted to know where she was from.
You wanted to know how old she was.
So
We want to make sure she goes from.
No, Sweetie said you wanted to know how old she was.
So that struck up a conversation. Then we did our exam. It took about an hour or so, whatever, and I was finished first before her. So as I was going up to turn in my paperwork and leave, I saw she was finishing up. So I went out to the elevator, And I was standing outside, she's coming out, so I'm going to wait. So I said, the elevator's here. I sent the elevator up. I was acting like the elevator didn't come. And I was acting all frustrated, pressing the button, like, damn, look, the elevator came. And meanwhile, the elevator came like 3 or 4 times already. And then she finally came out, and then we shared the elevator ride up. We struck conversation all the way out to the car. And we stood outside by the car talking for a while, and then the rest is history. We went through Nassau County Police Academy together in 2 separate rooms. We kept support with each other through the whole academy. You know, she actually kept me alive. If it wasn't for her, I probably wouldn't be a detective today.
Oh my God! Thank you. That is so sweet. The power of the woman, right? The beauty.
So hold on. So we got something new here.
What?
We got beauty in the booty. So we can do. We got a whole new show we can do.
Lord.
You know?
The power of the beauty, booty, rose. I can't with y'all.
Me, okay?
I can't. For real, for
These
real.
are my brothers,
Emotions.
and I need prayer from them.
So let me just give them where Emotions is going to be. Emotions will be May 14th at
Spices in the
Grill, which is at 1950 Grand Avenue in South Hempstead. It's really not Baldwin.
Yeah.
And the time will be from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m.
Yep. Doors open at 6.
Doors open at 6. Forum starts at 7. And we are looking forward to having each and every one of you come down and participate so that we can continue the services.
Oh, there's going to be 15% off of certain meals. We have a menu, and it's going to be 15% off the drinks?
Yes. There's going to be there are going to be bar specials, drink specials, and 15% off of select meals that are specially designed for the Emotions Forum.
Yes.
So we want to make sure that when you come down, that you can also obtain, a meal of your choice at a discounted rate. We want to make sure we're going to send a shout out to Jeff Backus, the owner of Spices and Grill, for allowing us to come back and host and be gracious enough to offer these discounts so that we can make sure that when you come, that you have something that you can, get and enjoy as well.
Wow, that's what's
It's
up.
going down. They got
It is.
Rasta
It's
Pasta
going.
Girl.
Have you ever,
Rasta Pasta.
girl?
Rasta Pasta.
I cannot.
Rasta.
Nah, I don't mess with that Rasta pasta.
Yes, May 14th, 6 to 9.
They got
Now listen, I will
I
tell
don't
you
mess
this.
with that Rasta pasta.
If
It's
you come,
too good.
I want to say this: if you come after 9 o'clock, DJ Buster Russ is always in the building. So what happens is,
He's gonna be DJing.
we also incorporate a lot of music into our forum. So you got to see what I can't give it away, but DJ Buster Russ will also be playing later than that. So what happens is after the forum ends, we kind of just hang out and socialize and network and party a little bit and have a good time, and to kind of discuss other issues and things that may come up the following week. So we want you there between 6 and 9, but after 9 o'clock, we just kind of make it a social hour.
That's good.
And
Get your
DJ Buster
business
Rush will be
first.
continuing to make sure that your social hour is what it's supposed to be.
God pray for me in the
That's
meantime.
right. Yes. Pray for her. Pray for the help. Pray for the help.
Pray for the help.
So,
Listen, see, I really wanted to eat. I got my girl Kim Love Jones, my boy Buster Rush. We got Janice. This is the hostess with the mostest.
Yeah.
But again, I have to say this.
What?
I would be
What? Oh, okay.
in trouble if I did not give a special thanks to my fiance.
yes, we
Yes.
love her.
Sweetie.
She opens up. No, we love. She opens up.
Yeah, for letting us be able to host.
Yes, so
I
I know her, and she's been like giving us. She's
been
good.
making sure that we had
Yes,
water,
water.
drinks,
Yes.
and electricity.
Yes. Thank you, sweetie.
Thank you, sweetie. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you, sweetie. So
Okay,
one
we're
more
good.
thing. We need D again.
We need to get okay. So it's Darren,
Darren
DarrinGreen, Darren Green.
Okay.
DARRIN
And
GREEN.
Thanks, Karen, because he was doing it too fast.
Green as in money.
okay. And then
No E.
Glenn Bates, this is like the last comment we're going to take, but Glenn Bates says, before I met my wife, I asked for sanctified women, and I didn't know what that meant, and he sent me a wife. I met her 4 months and got married. Now it's been 19 years.
Wow.
So y'all just
listen,
Very nice.
Glenn Bates, congratulations
Wow.
to you. You know, that's
But Glenn said the booty and the beauty will not keep you. It's going to take Jesus to keep you.
Amen, amen, amen. Yes.
Amen.
Yes.
Amen.
Kevin Bull says, I will definitely be there. Good. Yes, that's what we want. And Denise, my Mama Jones says, I hope some gospel. Mom, why you?
She wants some gospel music played. We can play Kirk Franklin's Stone.
Tonight, she wasn't here tonight?
No, at the forum.
Mom, listen, we play some Kirk Franklin sometimes, depending on what the topic is. So we play some OJs.
Yeah,
we play some Temptations, you know. We play some...
Treat her like a lady.
No.
We play everything. So I mean, but gospel is definitely one of the things that we can play.
Okay,
so,
see, thank you, Mom.
Mom, we welcome you. We want you to come. We want everybody to feel comfortable.
Okay, Mom, really. Anyway,
Leave her alone.
Mom, hold on, Mom. Is Mom still married?
Mom is married. Yes,
Okay,
Mom's
come
still
on, bring
married.
your husband.
Cooks and cleans.
You need your husband to come.
Lord have mercy.
There's a lot of brothers that come too.
Y'all, thank y'all for joining us. Listen, thank you guys. This was like an awesome,
Thank
you.
awesome
Thank you.
show.
Thank you.
Yes, this was
Thank
such
you.
an
They're
awesome
crazy.
show. Yeah, they're crazy.
I love that.
So you want to follow 2hot4church, guys? I need you guys to like
Kevin's
our
so
Facebook
happy.
page. Like our Facebook page, guys. So it's 2hot4church on Facebook. You guys are here, and my mom said 25 years. Really, Mom? Okay. So it's 2hot4church on Facebook. It's 2hot4church at Gmail, and it's also 2hot4church on Instagram. Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. This show is it's an epic show.
Yeah.
Like really, you guys are off the hook.
Thank
You guys are off the hook. So now our outro music.
Russell down with us.
Hey, come on, Russell Bud. You in the choir. Come on. I am my Lord back.
Take my big old
Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching.
Yes, thank you guys.